be a little closer. I see you, Madeline. Hello. How does it look, honey? So I'm gonna go a little closer.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So my viewing options, who do you see? Instructor only? And I don't have the option to view everyone. And who can see you? Only instructor can see me.
Then you don't have to change anything.
Right. I can change it to just myself.
Okay. From my, let me mute myself while we talk. Madeline, can you hear me? Okay, how are you doing? No. You can unmute yourself for now. In the lower left corner of your screen, it should say mute or unmute, just like on Zoom. Can you figure it out? It doesn't matter for now. Because for class, you only need to hear me. But if you wanted to say hi now, you can unmute yourself. Or there's a chat. See, on the right hand, there's a chat. You can type a message in there. I'll let you try to figure it out. Go to the lower left and you can unmute yourself. I'll be right back. Last thing, honey, can you turn your volume down? Because I could hear it like an echo. Oh, you did already. Okay.
You still hearing that?
No, it probably went away and I just. Sorry. Programs.
It's weird. If you look at this class in progress, it's counting down.
well, it's a 60-minute class. So it's counting down from 60, but it should start counting down at 1 o'clock, not now.
Keep that in mind.
I mean, it's called the warm-up room, and it's supposed to start 15 minutes before the class time starts. Oh, maybe I have to unmute you. Okay, try now.
Yes.
Oh,
I guess you have rights to that.
yes.
That's okay. So
That's why I'm doing it today like this, so I can figure out all these little things. It's pretty easy, but there are like little details like that.
I have a question. This is a charge to you, correct, to go on this site?
Yeah. I mean, normally speaking, whatever class you sign up for, you just pay for that class. For this class, it looks like flex pay. Did you see something that said?
Yeah, but it said I can't pay till the end.
Yes, you can't pay till the end if it's flex pay. Yeah.
So my friend, my personal trainer, I said to him, listen, you may want to do this if it's worthwhile to you. So I don't know if it's one charge for everyone or.
Well, as the instructor, you have the option to make it flex pay, and you can put in a suggested amount.
Right.
But people can pay whatever they want. Or you can put an exact amount that you're charging for the class. So
No, I get that, but how much do they charge you?
they charge me 8% of whatever I make.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So whatever plan, there are two plans. There's either an 8% plan or a 12% plan. So
Which one
whatever
is?
I make, they're going to take a percentage of, but I didn't have to pay anything to sign
I get
up
it.
to do
Which
it.
which one is the 12? The one that you put a certain number on, a certain dollar amount?
Well, that's the plan the instructor chooses, and that would be for all the classes
Okay.
that you teach. And if you pick the 12% plan, you just get more stuff. You get the ability to make a video library. You get the ability to play music during your class. You get like more features.
Oh,
But then it's 12% for whatever you make.
that's crazy.
And if you just do the basic plan, they take 8%.
Okay.
Yeah. But when a student pays, it's just whatever the instructor puts on that class, whether it's
Got
flex
it.
pay or, you can go and look at the other classes. Some are like $5, some are 10, some are 20,
Right.
decide for themselves what they want to charge.
Okay.
Okay. So
Is it just me and you today?
one other person signed up online from my Penn South group.
Oh, good.
So hopefully she's going to sign in. And Nelson is in the class also, just as to help me figure things
Good.
out. He's not really doing the class, but he's in the class. He's pretending to do yoga today. But anyway, how are you doing? Are you out in the island?
Yeah, I go back tomorrow.
Uh-huh. How was Thanksgiving?
It was good. I've been hanging out with my family the whole time, so I think we were safe. What'd you do?
Uh-huh.
Just with your boys and you?
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of nice for a change to not have to drive to New Jersey and, be in someone else's house. Like for once we could just do our own meal and get out the nice silver or whatever.
Right.
And just, have it just be us. So it was kind of nice for a change.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we did a big Zoom that night with the people that we normally do Thanksgiving with on Nelson's side of the family. So we still got to see it that way. Yeah. It was kind of nice.
I'm just going to warn you to try and be prepared to finish class at 1:45.
Yeah. So the one thing that Nelson is concerned about, and he's just telling me, is the class is supposed to be 60 minutes. and I'm supposed to get a 15-minute warm-up room, which is right now, but it started counting down from 60 when
I got it. So you only have 45 minutes of real workout.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, so you want to get started?
So yeah, let's get started, and we'll see how it goes. They really
All right, let me-
should give me 60 minutes from
About 45 minutes.
the class.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Okay.
But there's a
Okay.
countdown going, so I want to get started.
All right, wait, let me just shut my blinds and let's get going. Because the sun is,
Okay. And Karen might join in at any moment.
okay. I just worked out with my trainer, so I'm very sore.
Oh, okay.
I know, but it's all right.
Well, we're going to start off kind of slowly, kind of gently, so maybe it'll feel good, hopefully.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start off lying down. So go ahead and you have a mat?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to lie down on your back.
Let me put you on the floor with me so I can see you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get to this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're just going to take a few moments lying down on the back. Bend your knees. Separate the feet wide apart and let the knees fall together. So the legs are resting against each other. And then let the arms fall out to the side, any comfortable position. And start off taking a few deep breaths in through the nose. And then open the mouth and just sigh out through the mouth on the exhale. And just continue a few breaths like that. And after a few breaths like that, you can continue taking deep breaths, but you can keep the mouth closed and just breathing it in and out through the nose. And then just start to draw your awareness to wherever your back is touching the floor. Hi, Peggy. Peggy, we're just getting started, so you can join in whenever you're ready. Hope you can see me okay. I'll be demonstrating and showing everything on the floor. So we're starting off lying on the back in constructive rest. Just giving yourself a few moments to release and rest on the floor. And draw your awareness to wherever your back is touching the floor, or whatever part of your body might be touching the floor. The back itself, soles of your feet, backs of your arms, back of your head. And just imagine that surface area on your back just spreading out on the floor. As if you could just melt everything onto the floor, or maybe even soak yourself down into the floor a little bit. You can continue taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Continuing to melt into the floor. Just a few more breaths like this. Keeping the awareness on wherever you're contacting the floor, whether it's your bare skin or maybe through clothing. Just noticing where you're touching the floor. And then moving slowly, let's bring the feet a little closer together and then bring the knees in towards the chest and hug them in with your hands. Giving them a good squeeze. And then roll over onto one side and come up to sit. So, like I said, I'll be demonstrating through class, but I might also get up from time to time to check what's going on the screen and see how everyone's doing. Okay, so we're going to come up to a comfortable seated position. You could be sitting cross-legged on the floor. You could be kneeling. Any way of sitting that is comfortable for you. We'll be here for a few minutes, so make sure you're comfortable. So we're bringing our awareness to where we are touching the floor to just start to become aware of where we are in space. So now that we're sitting up, the upper body is vertical. So we're going to start to become aware of the space around us a little bit more. So we're going to start by moving the arms. So stretch the arms out to the side. And as you inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, palms facing in. And then to exhale, turn the palms out and sweep the arms down. We'll repeat this a few times. Inhaling up, feeling your arms moving through the space, and exhaling down. And maybe each time you move the arms, you can stretch them out a little bit farther, carving out a little more space each time. Good. One more time, just like this, taking your time. And now the next time we bring the arms up, we'll bring the hands together. So inhale up and bring the hands together, trying to keep the arms straight-ish. If they bend a little bit, that's fine. Interlace the fingers, except for your pointer fingers. Have the pointer fingers stretching straight up. And we'll just take a breath again here with the arm reaching straight up, as if you just want to poke a hole right in the ceiling. And then exhale, release down. Do one more time like that. Inhale up. If you can figure out the opposite way to interlace your fingers, try it. If you can't figure it out, don't worry about it. And just take a breath with the arms stretching straight up. And exhale down. Good. So we're going to now start moving forward and back a little bit in space, but still using the arms. So starting with your right arm, you're going to reach the right arm out in front of you, palm facing in. And on your inhalation, circle back so the palm faces out and turn to look back at that hand as you do so. And then exhale, sweep it forward again. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, look back at the hand, and exhale forward. One more time. Inhale, and exhale, sweep the arm forward. We'll do one more thing with the arm moving in the same direction, but we're going to bring it back. And as it goes behind, palm turns up. And just let the arm stay like that for a couple breaths. So we're going to be stretching out the armpit area, the underside of the arm, maybe getting down a little bit into the sides of your ribs here. Just kind of opening up a little bit here and looking back at that hand. And just take a few breaths as we see here. As if you were trying to reach to a high shelf behind you. And then slowly bring the arm back. And we'll do the other side. So left arm reaching forward. Big inhale as you circle the arm back and turn to look back at the hand. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, circle back. exhale forward. One more time, inhale and exhale forward. And then this time, we're gonna leave the hand back there. Just stop when the arm is at the point where your palm is facing up. And you can turn the head, turn a little bit to that side, and just, again, take a couple breaths. The opening feeling might be going down to your side a little bit, or maybe more just in the armpit area. Wherever it is, just take a couple breaths there. And then release the arm and let it come forward. Good. So we're going to come up onto hands and knees now into your cow-cat position or tabletop position. Just so everyone's aware, the class is supposed to be 60 minutes, but it might be counting down from when I came on, which means it might end at 1:45 instead of 2. So we're going to have to just watch that as we get closer to that time. Hopefully we'll go all the way till 2 o'clock. All right, so come to your tabletop position. Have your fingertips close to the front of your mat, the front of your space. Shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. And starting with few cow-cat. So inhale, arch the back and look up. And then exhale, round the spine, drop the head. Do it this way a few times, inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. You can breathe in and out through the nose, or inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth here. One more time. And then we'll come back to a neutral spine. So right in between. Now we're going to do a few times cow and cat, but the opposite breath pattern. So in other words, we're going to inhale first as we come to cat spine. So inhale, cat, rounding up. And then exhale to cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. So just noticing how it feels when you switch the breath pattern. Neither one is better, although we usually do the first one most of the time. And after one more round, just let your hips sink back towards the heels for a moment to child's pose. And rest in child's pose with the arms reaching forward for a few breaths. Okay. Check how everyone's doing. Okay, great. And then coming back up to your tabletop, we're going to walk out the legs a little bit. So stretch one leg back, inhale, and then exhale, bring the knee forward again, plant it down, and inhale, stretch the other leg back, exhale forward. So just kind of walking out the legs a few times, inhaling back, exhale forward. One more time each side. And then next time, we're going to stretch both legs back to come to a high plank. And just hold this for a couple breaths, cinching around the core to support the pose in the center. And from there, reaching back through the heels and forward through the crown of the head. Inhale, and then exhale, just drop your knees right where they are. From here, we're going to make our way to puppy pose. So pushing back, the hips shift back and keep going back. You might need to walk the knees back a tiny bit or not, depending on you, until you can come down into puppy pose. So the upper body's in line with the arms and you're just stretching back. You can either stay like this with that nice long diagonal line, or you can extend a little bit more, meaning Maybe the forehead drops down towards the floor. Maybe even the chest comes down towards the floor a little bit into more of an extended puppy. Good. And then slowly making your way back up. Bend both arms so the forearms go down to the floor, parallel. Shoulders over elbows, so shifting forward as needed. And we'll come to a forearm plank now for just a moment. Reach one leg back and the other leg back. Hold yourself up in forearm plank. And just like in regular plank, cinching around the core, reaching back through the heels and forwards through the top of the head. Keeping the abs engaged, you're going to slowly lower down until your belly comes onto the floor. Tilt the head and sternum up towards your Sphinx pose. Good. So from Sphinx, we're lifting up in the head, chest, and shoulders. Let's try to transition from here to a cobra pose while keeping the head, chest, and shoulders off the floor. So inhale, try to keep everything up as you just slide the hands straight back. Elbows come up, hug the elbows towards each other. So you end up basically in your cobra pose. Take an inhale and then exhale. Release. Rest the forehead down for just a moment. We're going to come up to one more cobra. So as you come up on an inhalation, reach the neck long, press the tops of the feet down, and peel up to any height cobra for you. From here, we're going to try to stay up again, keeping the upper body lifted off the floor. Lift your hands off the floor. Lift the legs off the floor to transition to locust for a couple breaths. You can either reach the arms forward or you can straighten them back alongside the body. Either way, trying to lift the legs straight up. Everything lifting away from the floor. And then on an exhalation, release down to the floor, fold your hands, make a little pillow with your hands and rest the head down. And let everything soften. Legs release. You can wiggle the legs and hips side to side a few times. And just take a moment to rest here. So from here, we're going to slowly make our way back to our tabletop position. So as you're ready, bring the hands under the shoulders, push yourself up, and then replace your tabletop close to the front of your mat. So again, starting with the shoulders over the wrists, hands spread nice and wide, little piece of pie in between each finger. And then we're going to come to a high plank again. So stretch one leg back, the other leg back, and then finally up and back to your downward facing dog. And in your down dog, you can also walk out the legs a little bit here. So one heel presses down as the other knee bends. Continuing to just stretch out the backs of the legs a little bit. And then stay in your down dog with both heels releasing to the floor for a few breaths. Continuing to lift the hips up high. Reaching back through the arms. As if you could slide the chest out from underneath the shoulder blades up towards your pelvis. And then slightly bend both knees and start walking the feet forward. You can also walk the hands back towards the feet. Coming to your wide forward fold with the knees bent to start with. So just dangling over the tops of your thighs. And then hold opposite elbows and release the head by nodding and shaking the head. Then swing the arms back and forth. Just finding any amount of release through the spine. At some point, switch the fold of your arms. Continue dangling down. Release the arms. Lift your upper body up to about neutral spine, so the head comes up. Keep the knees bent. Place your hands on top of your legs above the knee, and press into your legs as you come up to stand. Good, so finally coming all the way up to stand. I know my head's cut off for right now, but we're gonna come closer to the floor in a second, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So come towards the front of your mat in your Tadasana. So inner big toes touch, little space between the heels. And then inhale, sweep the arms out and up, just as when we are seated. And then exhale, as the arms come down, fold forward, reaching for the floor. Inhale, halfway up, trunk parallel to the floor, pressing into the fronts of the shins with your fingers, and then exhale, fold again. Inhale, step your right leg back to a low lunge position, stretching it out. And we'll just stay here for a couple breaths. So just like when we are in plank, we're always thinking of lengthening the top of the head forward and the heel back. So we can here our low lunge as well. And then on an exhalation, place the back knee down. Check to make sure the front knee is on top of the ankle here. And then we'll come up to a crescent lunge, bringing both arms up, big inhalation. On your exhale, just bring the hands to your front knee. And now we're going to take some arm circles with that right arm. So same as when we are seated, reach the right arm forward. Inhale, reach back towards that back foot. And then exhale, swing the arm forward again. Just 2 more times like this. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, forward. Inhale and exhale. And then bring both hands onto the front knee for a moment. From here, we're going to lower the hands to frame the front foot again. Tuck the back toes and straighten out that back leg so the knee comes off the floor. Keep your right hand down on the floor, and we'll just come to a basic twist here. So left arm reaches up and you're twisting towards that front leg. And just take a breath here. And on an exhalation, bring the left hand back down. Now we'll come to a warrior 2. So look back at your back foot, swivel the heel in and down. And then with the right arm, we're going to do that same kind of arm circle that we did before. So reach the right arm forward. As you inhale, let the arm pick you up to vertical in the upper body and come to your warrior 2. So gazing out over your left hand. Check that your front knee is still over the front ankle. And think of the outside of that knee being attached to the pinky of that foot. So keeping the knee from collapsing inward. One more breath. And then on an inhalation, straighten the front leg and tip back towards a reverse triangle. So left arm reaches up and over. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands all the way down, framing the front foot, and swivel onto the ball of your back foot. So we're back in our low lunge, and now we're going to drop the back knee again. So from here, we're going to go in the kind of opposite direction. We're going to go to a modified side plank on your right side. So the right hand is going to stay where it is. You can bring the left hand to the inside of that foot as well. We're going to take that left leg and bring it all the way back and stretch it out so the foot is on the floor behind your right toes. If you're having trouble balancing sideways like this, you can always swivel the right foot a little bit behind you for a little more balance. Either way, you're going to try to come to modified side plank with the right knee down and the left leg straight back. Try to bring the left arm straight up and reach the hands away from each other as you continue to breathe. Good. From here, we're going to attempt a little mini ardha chandrasana. So what that means is we're going to shift our body weight towards this front hand, your right hand. You might need to move it maybe an inch or so forward on the mat, towards the top of your mat, so you have a little more room to go forward, and see if we can lift the back leg up off the floor. So it just comes maybe parallel to the floor, and the foot is flexed. So it's like an ardha chandrasana, but we're just closer to the floor than usual. You can either hold this for a couple breaths, or you can try a pose called chapasana. So that means you're going to bend the top leg if you want to try this. So the foot goes behind you, and then reach back with that top arm and maybe grab onto the foot and hold like that for a couple breaths. So if it's hard to reach the foot, you could still get into that position and try. And it's actually more work, because once you have a hold of the foot, you can kind of relax. Not that you should, you can still work, but it's easy if you have the foot. It's more work to keep trying to reach for it without holding on. You can do either way, and then eventually straighten that leg again, bring the left hand down, swivel to face the floor, and come back to your downward facing dog. So both legs back, and push the hips up and back to your down dog. Drop both knees to the floor and rest back in child's pose for a couple breaths. Okay, I'm just checking how things are going. Somebody's in. Okay. All right, excellent. Okay, so from here, we're going to go back to our downward facing dog. So tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back to your down dog. Bending the knees and walking the feet forward once again. You walk the hands back as needed, coming to your wide forward fold. And you can either do exactly what we did before, keeping the knees bent and just dangling, or you can play with starting to straighten the legs in your forward fold. And just take a couple breaths there. Try to keep the spine nice and long. So even if you are up high, it's better to keep the spine long and straight rather than rounding down. So either way, taking a couple breaths, and then bend the knees, place your hands on your legs above the knees, push into the legs to come up to stand. Okay, so let's come to Tadasana, front of the mat one more time. Inhale the arms out and up, reaching tall, palms in, facing towards each other, and exhale as the arms come down, folding forward. Inhale halfway up, and exhale, fold again. Inhale, step the left leg back to your low lunge position. Staying for a couple breaths, again, to lengthen out in the low lunge. So crown of the head reaching forward, left heel reaching back. And then slowly release the left knee to the floor. And then on an inhalation, sweep the arms all the way up for your crescent lunge on this side. Exhale, bring the hands to that front knee. Now with the left arm, we'll do our arm circles. So reach the left arm forward. Inhale, circle back. Palm faces out as you reach back. Exhale, sweep it forward. 2 more times. Inhale, circle back. Exhale, forward. Last time, inhale, circle back. And then just rest both hands on that front knee for a moment, facing forward. Then we'll return to our low lunge for a moment. So hands down, tuck the back toes, And then left hand is going to stay down and we'll come to our twist on this side. So inhale, bring the right arm up, twisting towards that front leg. And then release the hand down. We'll come to warrior two on this side. So swivel the back heel in and down. And again, with the left arm, we're going to make that big circle. As the arm starts to reach back, let that help lift you up, vertical in the upper body to your warrior two position. We'll hold this for a couple breaths. Again, the front knee is bent over the front ankle. And think of a connection from the outside of this knee to your pinky, like there's a really strong rubber band that's holding it right there. And gaze out over the front hand. Good. On your inhalation, straighten the front leg and tip back towards reverse triangle. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot, swivel onto the ball of your back foot. I'm going to drop that back knee to the floor. We're going to come to our modified side plank on this side. So your left hand is going to stay down. You can bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot for a moment, and then swing that right leg all the way back. So it's on the floor like the back of a warrior two foot behind your left toes. And then trying to get your balance, you're going to turn sideways to your modified side plank on this side. And just like on our other side, we're going to try a modified ardha chandrasana. So I'm going to just swivel. So I'm facing more towards the camera this way. And now your left hand might have to go an inch or something like that towards the top of your mat. So you can shift the weight forward. And that's what allows this back leg to come up off the floor. And then you're in your little baby ardha chandrasana. As always, you can swivel the left foot back behind you a bit for a little better balance if you need. And then option for a chapasana variation on this side. So bending the top leg so the foot goes behind you and maybe reaching back and grabbing onto that foot. If you have a hold of the foot, try kicking the foot away behind you. That's going to stretch out the shoulder. So for this, we do keep the hand so the palm is facing down. Even though with our arm circles, we were opening the palm up. So if you wanted to try it that way, you could, but it's a little intense on this shoulder, for me at least. It's perfectly possible to do it that way, or you can just keep the palm down. And then slowly release that top foot so the leg can straighten out again. Turn towards the floor and return first to your plank position and then downward facing dog one more time. And then drop both knees down to the floor gently and push back to child's pose. For this child's pose, you can separate the knees wide apart, keep the inner big toes touching, and then rest down in between your legs like that. You can melt down towards the floor, maybe a little bit more in that position. And just rest a few more breaths. So doing pretty well on the time. So what I'm going to aim for is by 1:45, we'll be wrapping up. That way, if the class does go till 2 o'clock, we'll have plenty of time for a really nice long shavasana. But if the class does cut off, at least we will get to a point where, we've begun shavasana. And then if we have more time, we can always do a few things later. So what we're going to do now is return to downward facing dog again. So reach the arms forward, come up so you can bring the knees closer together, back to your tabletop, and then reach one leg back, the other leg back, and push up and back to your down dog. So we're going to try one on each side, regular ardha chandrasana. So the way we're going to do it, I'm going to go back to this side first. We're going to step your right foot halfway up the mat. So you come forward a little bit with the shoulders and step that right foot halfway up towards your right hand. Now, if you have blocks or anything you could use, like a block, you could use it here, or you can just keep your hand on the floor. So if I were going to use a block, I'd put it here on the high height, but I'm going to demonstrate on the floor. So what you're going to do is keep that right hand down, and you're going to start to lift the left leg up behind you. Your right hand is a little bit to the outside of where your right foot is. It's not in line, it's a little bit more to the right. And then you can try to get that leg, the top leg, up, flexing the foot. Bring the left hand up to your left hip and try to come sideways as much as possible. This is the same thing that we were doing on the knee before. So you could always go back to just doing it on the knee like we did before. Balance is a little more accessible here. Or if you want to try with the standing leg straight, ardha chandrasana. And as before, we can also try to reach for that top foot into your chapasana. Trying to keep the balance. And then release that back leg back down to the floor and step the right foot back to down dog. And now we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So left foot steps halfway forward on your mat. Again, I'm going to swivel this way. So this will be your standing leg. And then your left hand comes a little bit to the outside. So when we use a block, it's to help us get more into alignment with the upper body in line with the back leg. For most people, if you keep this front hand on the floor, the upper body is going to angle down towards the floor, which is just normal because your arm is shorter than your leg. So it's nothing bad. It's just a little bit different alignment. If you're worried about it, you put your hand up on something. So this arm is now as long as the standing leg. So my upper body is more in line with the top leg when I come to ardha chandrasana. Either way is fine. You can also try to reach back for that top foot, or just keep the top leg straight. Either way is good. Trying to keep your balance and slowly lower the top leg down. Bring both hands back down to the floor and then step back one more moment, down dog, and then drop the knees and rest in child's pose again. So from your child's pose, just start to walk the hands back so that you're coming up to kneel. And then sit off to one side and swing the legs around in front. So your legs are straight out in front of you. And just jiggle out the legs for a moment. Good. So make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, pressing down into the floor, either side of your hips, to just check in. Is the upper body vertical? Maybe even lengthening the spine a little bit there. And then maintain the height through the spine as you release the arms. Inhale, sweeping the arms all the way up. And then exhale, folding forward, reaching for your feet, calves, ankles, wherever you can make contact with your legs so that you can start to fold forward any amount. Again, trying to keep the spine relatively straight. If you find yourself starting to kind of round forward at some point, just back off a little bit, coming up a little bit, finding that long straight spine again, and just working from there. And keeping the head in line with the spine. And then slowly release and come up to sit. And we're going to come to lie down on the back now. So coming on down, bend your knees and have your feet about hip width apart. We're going to come to a bridge. So you can have the arms down alongside you, either just pressing down with the palms onto the floor or holding onto the edges of the mat. Either way, for starters, just try walking the feet in pretty close to you. The feet should be parallel. Legs are parallel hip width apart. And then before you even try lifting up, maybe press the back of the head into the floor just a little bit so you can lift up a tiny bit in the chest, roll the shoulders in underneath you a little bit, and then push up with the hips to come to your bridge position. We'll stay here for just a couple breaths. And then slowly lower back down. So we're going to do 2 bridges. When you do 2 or more, you get a little bit further in each bridge. You could also do another back bend here if you feel like doing a full wheel or anything else. Or you can just stick with another bridge. Inhale, pushing up. Think of sending the knees forward and the sternum back towards your chin. Lengthening through the front of the body. And then slowly lower all the way down. You can rest here for a moment. And then we're just going to separate the feet a little wide apart, about as wide as your mat. Move the arms out of the way so you can just let the knees drop side to side in a gentle twist. Keeping the feet separated so that inner knee can drop down a little bit further. It's not going on top of the other leg. And you can just go back and forth. Or if you prefer to just stay on one side for longer, you can just stay for a couple breaths on one side and then do same on the other side. Okay. So once again, we are doing great on time. So I kind of made sure we would have the ability to finish at around 1:45 if it does cut me off. I'm not sure what it's going to do. All right. So we'll just finish. We're going to do one more thing on the back and then start Shavasana. So bring the knees up once again, almost like you're going to do bridge again. And just cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. So we can do a figure 4 stretch. So keeping the top foot flexed, you're going to reach around the right thigh. So your left hand goes in between the legs and hugging in. You might be able to reach the shin. Either way, you're just bringing the whole unit of the legs in closer to you. And if it feels okay for you, you can take your left hand and just gently push the left knee away a little bit, keeping the left foot flexed. Take another breath and then slowly release. Uncross the leg and cross the right ankle on top of the left knee. And switch for the other side. Again, reaching around the leg that's farther away from you. So it should be your left leg, but always reach for the one that's farther away and hug it in towards you, either holding around the back of the thigh or the shin. And again, now with your right hand, you might be able to press the knee away, but very gently, just to a point where it's a pleasant feeling stretch, not an excruciating feeling stretch. And then slowly release both legs, uncross them, and then we'll set up for Shavasana. So here, just stretch the legs straight out on the floor. And at first, really reach them away as if you're trying to put your footprints on the wall on the other side of the room. So the legs are really stretched or reaching out, and then let them relax. Maybe the feet roll open. Just let them do that if it feels natural. Bring the arms out to your sides, angled away from the body slightly. Turn the palms up. Again, I usually like to kind of tuck my shoulders a little bit underneath me. You might feel that that is what you need to do to be comfortable in Shavasana, so try that. And then once you are feeling comfortable, bring your awareness to the face itself. Let the eyes close gently. And then, as much as possible, release the eyeballs from any holding. Feeling like they're just releasing back down into the eye socket. Soften the tongue, soften the jawline. If it feels natural for your mouth to open slightly, let that happen. And then we'll take a few centering breaths in Shavasana. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Still going. And then after a few centering breaths, go ahead and go back to breathing in and out through the nose, but keeping the breath very, very soft and natural. And if it feels natural to have the lips a little bit parted, that's fine. There's no need to, clamp the lips shut, as long as you just are trying to breathe in and out through the nose. Continuing to relax in Shavasana. I think we will have a few more minutes to go. So I'm just going to encourage you to rest a little bit more. And if you're like me, or like most people, usually at the beginning of Shavasana, you feel maybe a bunch of thoughts rushing through your head, or kind of a flurry of thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do this later or that later, or what's going on. And that's totally normal. But knowing that you're going to try to continue to rest in Shavasana, if possible, just detach yourself from the thoughts themselves instead of being in the thoughts. just try to look at them from outside and just notice them and slowly just let them go. And if they come back, you can just say hello to them again. And if it's something truly important, it will, of course, occur to you later after Shavasana. No, nothing to worry about. Just let them start to drift away a little bit as you continue to rest. So when you're ready, go ahead and roll over to one side and coming up to sit. Taking a couple moments just to breathe as we're back in our vertical position. And you can bring your hands together and I'll say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this test run. I'm going to see if I can unmute everybody for a moment. Second. There, I think I'm unmuted. So I think what happened was I clicked start class when I should have just clicked start warm-up room. So that's why it was counting down. But they also give us 15 minutes at the end for cool down. So we were able to go a little bit past 1:45. So next time I'll know to not start the class until it's really time to go to class.
All right, so Susie, I have to leave, but if I leave class, then I can pay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But you
So
don't have to pay anything for today.
Oh, come on.
It's a free.
Yeah. But I just want to know if I have to leave class, so I'm going to leave class now.
Yeah, you just click leave class or whatever it says for you, and then they'll send you either you'll see it right away on the screen or they'll send an email that has the
All right. All right. See you next time.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks. Let's see.
Hi, Peggy. Can you hear me still? Oh, I can't hear you. You might have to try to unmute yourself. In the lower left corner, do you see something that says mute or unmute? So sorry, I don't know. From my end, it looks like I've unmuted everybody, but maybe there's something extra you'd have to do on your end. But there's a chat also if you want to, or you can just send me an email. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. If you have any comments on like how this worked for you or anything, you can just always send me an email. And maybe next time we can figure out how to unmute. It's always with new technology. There's a little bit of learning how to do things. Just like there is also a way to do music with this, which I will do in the future, but it was too much to try to do it all at the same time at the first class. So that's why I didn't try it today. But eventually there'll be music and it'll come straight into your computer. It's not like it'll come over my microphone. It'll be sent straight to you. So it'll sound pretty good, I think. And that'll be fun. So anyway, thank you for coming. I'll send another email soon that has like more details about like when I'll be teaching more on the class, on Moxie, I mean.
Susie?
Oh, now I can hear you.
I just found the unmute.
Good.
Can I just ask a quick question? Are
Yes.
you going to have a regular schedule soon?
Yes, I haven't posted it yet because I wanted to try this out first today, but I'm gonna probably teach about 2 classes a week, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I'll see how it goes, but I'm gonna put that all into an email that I'll send to everybody.
Okay,
Do
great.
you have
Thanks.
preference for days or time of day? Or
I do. Can I just email you my preferences?
yeah, that'd be helpful.
Because I might have put it in that survey you sent, but now I don't even remember. So
Well, yes. Well, the thing about the survey is I can't tell who answered what. You know, it just
Okay.
gives me like the, general idea of how people answered, but I don't know individually who answered what.
yeah.
I was thinking of trying to do like maybe one class around lunchtime and another one in the evening on a different day.
That's good.
Yeah, maybe if people are interested, I could do a morning one also, but so far no one has really requested that. We'll see. But yeah, you can always just email me, sort of your general preferences. That would be helpful.
I will. Okay, thank you, Susie. This was great.
Okay, it was good to see you virtually.
Okay.
Okay, talk to
bye-bye.
you soon. Okay, bye.